Hi everybody, Mike Beer here with your Wednesday DRF race of the day. We're going down to Tampa Bay Downs, race number 4. Maiden special weight for 3-year-olds. They're going to sprint 6 furlongs on the main track. We have a field of 8 going here. Let's take a look at that field right now. 3 first-time starters in here, a couple of others who only have 1 start. So there was not enough data for time for me to make a pace projector for the race. We won't have that. I would just think that just based on the past performances of the horses who have run, the morning line favorite there, the number 2 Onward, he does seem like a horse who is probably going to try to make the lead one more time. And here they've shown speed with him in each of his last 3 starts. And he's putting blinkers on for this, which will be his second start as a 3-year-old, second start back off the layoff for Christophe Clement. I mean, I suspect he's going to show speed. The number 5 in here, 5-star Colonel, is going to be a bigger price. He's run twice. He's shown speed in both of those races. He just hasn't run particularly well either time. He's going to have to really improve in this race. I mean, if he's going to be effective. Maybe he'll show speed. I don't even know if he's fast enough to outrun Onward early, though, assuming that one wants the lead. Let's start with Onward, though, as we make our way through this field, just because he does feel like the horse to be in here. Personally speaking, I'm a little bit tired of this horse, who I will admit I was on early on in his career as a 2-year-old. I thought his debut on Travers Day was actually a pretty good effort against a good field. He seemed like a horse who probably needed that race, but I thought he kind of ran deceptively well in there. He came back for his second start. He had a really tough post on the outside going a mile at Belmont and did not get a good trip. I didn't think he had a fair chance at all that day, so I was very interested in this horse out of his first 2 starts. I really liked him in that November 9th race when they cut him back to 7 at Aqueduct. And listen, he ran fine that day. Ultimately, he was only second best to a horse named Toledo, trained by Chad Brown. I thought Onward ran fine in that day, but it was just the kind of race where I felt like if he was any good, that was a race he probably could have won. His final start as a 2-year-old came on Cigar Mile Day. He showed speed that day going a mile. He just, to me, didn't run that well. He was challenged by the 1-2 finishers there on the turn, was no match for those horses, easily out-finished at the end. I mean, that was a really good field, a field that's a lot better than this one. He just didn't run that well. When he came off the layoff last time going this distance at Gulfstream, once again, they tried to show speed with him. He contested the pace between the 1-2 finishers there. The 1-2 finishers were both first-time starters, and they may both actually be pretty good. Cajun Breeze, the winner, or Cajun Brother, who was the winner there, who was a huge price in that race at 36-1. He ran well that day, and he came back to win his next start as well with an 81 buyer, so that horse seems like he's okay. Onward just, once again, was no match for those horses. He gave way readily in the stretch. He's second off the layoff here. He's going to put blinkers on. He's probably going to show speed, and I don't have any argument with anybody who just says this is the easiest spot he's been in his career. That's probably true. I'm just a little tired of him and don't know how short a price I really want on him. I felt like the 3 Falkirk was a viable alternative to the favorite in here. Falkirk has only 1 start under his belt. That came last September as a 2-year-old at Churchill. That was a big field, a 12-horse field. He didn't really have any speed. He was outrun early. He looked very green to me early in that race. But he actually put in a run through the stretch. He was in a lot of traffic in the stretch of that race, staying towards the inside. He altered course a couple of times. I thought he raced on pretty well. Passed some horses to be 5th. Not a bad debut at all. It seems like he's training right along here for Ian Wilkes. And it's interesting because Ian Wilkes, I think, sort of has a reputation as a guy who you don't want off of layoffs and you don't want first-time starters. But, take advantage of the free Formulator PPs that you have for this race of the day and look up his stats in Formulator with horses off of layoffs like this, because they're actually pretty good, especially in dirt sprints with maidens. I mean, he actually has a solid record with these horses. If this horse comes back and shows any improvement, I think this is a field that he could certainly beat in here. I just want to touch on a couple of the first-time starters before we wrap it up. The 1, Bronco Maria, is the second choice on the morning line at 3-1. He's by Candy Ride, who's a very good sire. They paid $385,000 for this horse as a yearling. He doesn't have a ton of pedigree on the bottom. The Dam was a minor stakes winner up at Northlands Park, but she, ultimately wasn't that good, and she ultimately wanted to go long as well. Listen, this horse has been training right along. 4 straight 5-furlong breezes into this race, so you don't feel like fitness will be an issue. Mike Stidham, a very, very good trainer. He does a really good job. Maybe this horse will be ready to run and be effective. I thought the most interesting firster was the horse on the outside, the number 8 Detective, by Malibu Moon. The Dam was a winner. She's a sister to a multiple Grade 3 winner. And this horse is a half to 3 horses who could actually really run. He's a half to Senor Rojo, who's a Grade 3 winner. Won 15 races in his career. This horse is a half to High Ridge Road, who's a Grade 2 sprinter. That horse has an awful lot of ability. She's won 5 times, over $400,000. And he's also I have to affiliate named Connie and Michael, who was a debut winner with a 95 Beyer speed figure as a 2-year-old, and then as a 3-year-old finished second, a very close second, in the Grade 1 Mother Goose. So this Dram stock dropped 3 horses who could really run, and this horse might get overlooked a little bit in the wagering. I don't really want a first-time starter in here, but if I took one, I'd probably take Detective and hope that he could show up with a good run here at a price. We'll put the picks up now. Ultimately, I'm just, going to be against Onward in here. I know that he can win. He's the horse to beat in a lot of ways, but I'm going to try Falkirk. I thought he actually showed something in his debut. He might actually be a fair price, especially if they just go overboard. I don't know why they would, but maybe they'll go overboard on Onward in this race. So I'm going to go 3, 2, 8, and 1 in Wednesday's race of the day. It is the 4th at Gulfstream Park. The approximate post time, 2:30 Eastern Time. Good luck.